You heard myself.
It's all good.
We are live. Okay.
Okay, I got the green balloon.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Casket Ready. You know, Legacy Builders, we are here in the building. Shout out to everyone that's here. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Life. We got also
Real Estate Rob.
and we got somebody else in the building. We got Wanna Fix Your Credit. We got Wanna Fix Your Credit in the building. It's going down today, right? Happy Monday, guys. Once again, we talking about life, be lifing. There's so many different unexpected things that happen in one's life, in one's lifetime. That there's things that we can't control, there's things that we can't control, but we still gotta, live life anyway. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna tell some stories, man. It's story time. We're gonna talk a little bit about our experiences, what we went through in our lives and, how it made us into what we are today. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to let one of you guys go ahead and take it over.
Yeah, no, I mean, essentially, let's just talk about the basics of what life insurance covers. I mean, a lot of things happen in life, but like, what are some things that life insurance could cover? I mean, in general.
Well, I would like to go first because when we talk about life be life-ing, and we know the living benefits that come with certain policies. So like if you're in a financial bind, I like the fact that I can borrow against my life insurance.
Yeah,
right. Like you never know what can happen, and you own a home now. Like I'm a homeowner now, so it's like something go wrong, the hot water heater or something, and I have all that money sitting there. I can borrow against it to replace it instead of taking out a loan for one. Right? So that's the one that I'll say I like most is that I can borrow against it.
So
tax free.
There you go. Let me ask you a quick question though. Like, let me ask you a favor. Can I borrow from your policy real quick?
No. No, thank you. No, y'all hear that, right?
No. To your point though, like it comes in handy for those type of emergencies. And you never know what's gonna happen in life. You know what I mean? And the example I like to give is, my father, he retired, and how I got into life insurance and realized how serious it was. One day I opened up a letter after he retired. It's maybe like a year or so after he retired. And it turned out, it just opened up a rabbit hole where it turned out he had like 15 insurance policies. And back in the day, they just go to hospitals and just say life insurance. So he was just trying to protect the family. So he just kept saying yes to everybody, And it's funny, I tell the story because he used to be like, the man's taking my money. And I used to be like, talk about Pops. But it turned out it was some truth. It wasn't the man per se. It was the dude that was coming in and trying to get a policy kept saying yes. But long story short, why it was so crucial and important is because he had 15 policies, and about 10 of them he paid like 2-3 times over because he had these policies for 40 years.
Wow.
And the truth is, if he had the right insurance agent, he'd have walked away with a lot more money. Now, the reason why this is important, life be life, is that we were able to pull out around $30K out the policy. So we canceled some, but we would pull out $30K, which paid for his car that he had.
Wow.
And he needed a car. And he just got his driver's license, don't know how to drive. So, premiums went up here and there. So we kept that money in the account when it went up because I wasn't going to pay the difference because he was on my policy, of course. But, case in point, life be life, and it really came in handy.
Right.
He just got his license, and he wants to buy a car. He wants to buy a decent car. And so that money was used for heavy down payment, and we were able to put away at least a year's worth of insurance car payments. You know what I mean? So that was massive. And it's important because we all know it's a lot of stages where car insurance costs a lot. Either you're young or you're old and you get your license for the first time. Just as bad. So we know that premium was high, but we was able to put away a year's worth just so we could be able to afford it. And that's where it came and helped our life at that time.
So were those policies strictly like standalone policies, individual policies, or were they like policies with the job, or was it both?
No, they were standalone, to your point. So it was different carriers that all standalone policies. He had a couple riders on them, which for people that don't understand, life insurance is added on for your kids and stuff like that. but they were standalone policies. They're about like 8 different companies. You know, like I said, they would just come back those days with the unions. They would come and, you know, the union rep would be the connect, and then they just give you policy after policy, and that's how you ended up there.
Okay. So when somebody always says, a hard head makes a soft. You know what? That's me. Like for real. Like I've told my stories a few times, and just to keep it short and sweet, is that for me, how I even got into this game is that I nearly lost my life coming home from work one day. I was always like when we were younger, we play sports all the time, right, bro? So it was a lot of, I was very athletic. And any sport you name that I played in, I was very healthy as a kid and had no health issues. And when I was young, I used to smoke. And ironically, when I stopped smoking is when I actually, started catching muscle spasms and, I started having breathing issues. And then one day come home from work, I caught pneumonia and nearly lost my life. I was rushed to the hospital, hospitalized for 7 days, in a coma for 3 days. And, but prior to this happening, somebody in my family was talking about life insurance. And I was like, why would I want to get life insurance? That sounds stupid, right? That's literally what I told him, right? And little did I know that was like the craziest thing that I could have done at that time. Because why? Because if I would have had a policy prior to me getting sick, I would have accessed those living benefits like you were just talking about, had access to it, right? And then, that could have changed what I would have done, around this time. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was an eye-opener, on bed rest for about a month. I couldn't go back to work for a while. I was just sitting and doing a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting on my life. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, if I would have passed away, how many people would have been affected, of me not being here anymore? And then that's when it really clicked for me, like, something got to change. I got to do something. So when I tried to apply for the coverage, they actually denied me, right? So then for me, I'm out here talking to people about get your life insurance, but then I couldn't even get it myself. So mentally, it kind of did something to me for a little bit because I'm like, damn, I can't even get this right now. And I know how important it is after the fact, right? So then now, 2 years later, speed up time, fast forward time, and then I finally was able to get the coverage because I waited some time. And then when I reapplied, I actually got approved. And then now I understood, okay, the value and the importance of it. So that's my little, take on that,
So I was gonna say I kind of like want to look at it in a different way too. So because we know the topic is life be life-ing. Sometimes you can have a life insurance policy, whether it's a term or whole, and life be life-ing. You may lose a job, right?
Yeah.
And we know that you need to pay your life insurance premium every month, just like you would pay for a car insurance, right? And sometimes life be life-ing. So it's important to, make sure that you have, it's kind of tapping into some of the other services we offer, savings and budgeting, making sure that you have some money in your savings account, emergency funds, because that's one of the policies you don't want to ever let lapse, right? Your life insurance policy, you don't want to lapse, because what are some of the consequences of allowing your policy to lapse? You can apply for another one, but then your premium may be a little bit higher. Right? Life is already life-ing. Financially, we don't really have it. So, it's good to have some money in the savings account so where when something like that happens, you may lose a job or just anything may happen to where you have to take your money and do something, groceries, whatever the case may be. We don't want our life insurance policy to lapse.
And I love everything you said. And even to go back to what Kay said to connect it all, the way life be life-ing, at that time, that's when we first started the other business that we had. And one, had you did the right thing and got a policy, you had money, startup money, start the business up. Two, around that time, I think you owe me some money too. So, had you had a policy, you'd be able to pay me back, first off.
But listen, you my beneficiary of my policy, so I tell you what.
After the fact.
Listen, I got you back there, I'll tell you that. So listen, if something happens to me, right, guys, if something happens to me, just know I didn't do it. Just know I didn't do it. I just want to put that disclaimer out there, all right?
No, but it is true. It is funny, though, because, and just to even go over the benefits in that situation where living benefits scenario where it came in handy, is that because of the illness that you had and you had to go in the coma, you would have had access to 25 to 75% of your money, which, for numbers sake, your current policies are you know, it's a quarter mil, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
at that point, if you actually had that policy when that happened, you would have had access to at least 150,000.
That's crazy.
And we'd have been laughing to the bank when you woke up. Like, okay, you got $150. Just give me a call real quick. That's what I want. You know.
Yeah.
And the reality of the situation is, at that time, you were not able to work, and that's where the life insurance policy would have came in handy. Hence, life be life, and that's how serious it is. And you very young. What was that, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, this was back in 2018. Yeah, back in 2018. That's crazy. Time before.
That part.
Yeah, it's crazy how it can come in handy. Crazy how it come in handy.
Wow.
I mean, you know, I would say this. I would say that because life be life, and then people going with their normal daily activities of just doing the basics of going to work, taking care of the kids, coming home, you know, sports, whatever it is that you guys are into, or however your lifestyle is, we don't take the time to think that things can go wrong, right? And Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. And that's the whole idea, the whole concept of it, right? Because people think that they have this thing where they're immortal, to where nothing wrong can happen, and that they're going to live forever. And but it's not true. It happens every single day, but we don't feel it until it happens to us, right? So then it's about preparation. It's about preparation for right now. It's about preparation for later. And it's about preparation for 2 generations down the line. That's what this is all about. And a lot of times we lose sight of that, right? And then what reminds us of what's important and what we need to do is when we go through something tragic, or when somebody passes, or when somebody gets injured, or when somebody gets hurt. That's when we're reminded of how important life is, how important life insurance is. And this is the reason why we talk about this every single week. We're going to continue talking about it.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Because that's how important it is.
Absolutely. I think it's very important. You know, I like to share how I knew the importance of having a life insurance policy. Like I said, I grew up in the South where the life insurance agent, she go to people's houses and collect the premium every month. So like she come knock on my grandma's door, go to my aunt's house, my godmother's house. So I knew at a young age, you know, down south, we, you know, that's taught. You see that. However, what I didn't understand is the fact of the amount you should have on yourself, right?
Gotcha.
You know, I spoke with a funeral director down there one time, and you know, told me the amount of funerals he has in a week, and you know, it's just unfortunately people are dying way more often than it should. So one example he told me is that you know, he had somebody came in, the spouse came in, and they only had a term life insurance policy. But the person was older, the spouse was older. So they thought that term that was like 20 years was good, and the person passed maybe like 15 years after that term policy ended. But that spouse didn't realize that policy had term. You know, so but then, you know, those are generations from way back when who didn't, you know, back then life insurance policies was dirt cheap. Life insurance policy, $7,000 was way more than enough to bury, you know, your family member. But the importance of not just having enough to bury, but having enough to cover expenses after you're gone.
Absolutely.
Right?
No, that's real talk. I mean, and if we be honest though, like at least 2 times a year on average, all of us hear somebody that died abruptly or somebody that we know that was going to die. And the number one question we all wonder, did they have a policy? But notice, it's always crickets around that conversation no matter what. You know what I mean? And in most cases, we all know, we all get the family call. Oh, listen, such and such died. How much you got on it? Like, you know what I mean? Everybody putting together piecemeal, when as if you had a policy, it will be paid for, no worries.
Right.
Person passes away, you verify the death, a couple days later, you get a check, bury the person they wanted the way they want to be.
Right.
And if you have a policy that has some type of money in it, now you can leave money for your family. You can leave money for your aunts, your uncles, you know, even $100,000. Imagine when a funeral costs 20 grand and you got 80 grand that you spread across 10 people that deserved it. You know what I mean? That's 8 grand a pop. Right. I don't know about you, but 8,000 in my pocket out of nowhere, I'm loving it. Catch up on some bills. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I would just like to say, because I know a lot of times, and you know, us as believers of Jesus and God and everything like that, we're big on how we speak, right? Speaking things to the atmosphere. There's power in the tongue. So a lot of people don't like to have these conversations. People will be like, oh, you don't want to speak death on me, but don't look at it that way, right? Look at it as this is a realistic thing. Like people are leaving way more quicker than normal. And it's just like you want to protect it. No, we're not speaking death on anybody. We just want to make sure that you have everything all lined up so that the financial strain will fall on your family members.
Yeah.
So don't look at it that way. Don't look at it as we speak in death or anything. It's just like it's a variant. These are tough conversations, uncomfortable conversations that you should have.
And speaking of the conversations, right? I don't know why we do this though, but we keep this thing a secret, right? So like you'd be surprised at how many people I talk to, right? And they say, can I just do this without her knowing? Or can I just get this policy without him knowing? I'm like, no, you can't do that. Like you can't. That's a no. Like you can't do that. Like, and the crazy part about it is that people like, and I get it. Like a lot of times, especially in our communities, Black and brown communities, we're so secretive and discreet when it comes to money, right? We never want to know how much somebody's making. We never, everything is just on a hush hush. Nobody wants to know these things, right?
Right.
So when it comes to something like leaving some money behind for someone, it's like they want to keep it a secret, and that's the exact opposite of what you need to be doing.
Right.
You need to tell this person, hey, listen, when something were to happen to you, this is how much money you're going to get, right? This is where the actual policy is. These are the steps that you need to take when it does come. This is the company you need to call. They're going to ask you these questions, and this is how you're going to answer it. I need people to be that detailed on what's going on. Why? Because it's the inevitable. It's going to happen. So at some point, and so that's why it's about readiness. It's about preparation, and because once again, because you don't know the unexpected, life be life-ing, why, of all surprises that you could have in life, why let that be that one that you're gonna be as a surprise? It doesn't make sense.
And I like the fact that you said that at the end of the day, because trust me, I want to know I'm getting paid. Forget the nonsense. I want to know I'm getting paid. And let's be honest, it's all about who you trust at the end of the day. And who goes on as your beneficiary, meaning the person you want to leave that money to, is a person that you trust. So why would you not want to let the person that you trust or you want to leave it for know, I'm going to leave you this? Now, in all fairness, I don't watch a lot of Lifetime movies.
No.
So I don't want me to be walking by them steps and I make a little casual fall. I get it. But that aside, you got to tell a person who's getting the money that they're getting the money.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And what the life insurance company is going to do, when you pass away, they're just going to send a normal letter out and that's it.
Right.
And if you don't know to open that letter, you never know.
That's
right.
So the person has to know. And that's the other thing that we have to do is put the wills in place and trust in place so everybody knows.
Absolutely.
Think about it. If something happens to you, who has access to your bank accounts? Who has access to your life insurance policy? You gonna let the government take that money? Like, come on, like it's real.
Talk to him. It's a real thing, and there's so many different stories. Like I remember one time, right? It's like I was probably like 17, 18, about 18 years old. Just graduated Florida, came back to New York. Right, that was my first real job. I was working at McDonald's, right? And I remember coming home from work one day. I had this old van, right? And me and my boys, we were so tired because we did overnight. And that morning, I'll never forget it. We were supposed to go to the Maury show, right? And back then, like in the early 2000s, Maury was fire. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You are not the father.
Yeah. So we was mad hype. So the plan was, all right, I drop everybody off, everybody get, take their shower, everybody get ready. We back outside, becoming to Stanford, right? So I literally dropped everybody off, but we were so tired from the night before. We worked overnight, right? And I kid you not, I was like a block away from the house. As I'm going home though, I was with Smoke. It was me and Smoke. As we were going back to my house, right? Driving. We were so tired. Smoke was already knocked out. He was knocked out on the passenger side. I'm driving, and every time he hit a traffic light, I put the car in park and I dozed off for a second. And the only way I got back up to know to drive was the person behind me honking their horn for me to go. That's how tired I was. I was literally a block away. I kid you not, a block away from the house, and it was lights out.
Wow.
I crashed into a back of a police cruiser, right?
Oh and my gosh.
The airbags deployed, and it was just my face was bloody. Smoke, he almost damn near went through the windshield. He like his whole body jerked. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
And the people across the street at the B44 bus stop, they ran across the street, making sure we was okay. But the issue was that the police cruiser, they weren't in the wrong. They weren't supposed to be here. But the people didn't know that we were actually sleeping. I fell asleep behind the wheel. They didn't know that. They just thought I crashed into the back of the car, right? So it was just crazy. Then the ambulance came, more police came, and the chief was pissed off because he's like, why was this car parked there? If I knew now what I knew then, like we could have sued them, right? We could have got some money. We didn't care. We just was tight because we couldn't go to the morning show. Like the whole plan, the vibes was done.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So in that scenario, I'll never forget that. Like it was yesterday. We just went back and we just kind of got some rest and we just kind of like I guess
and
processed everything. And
it's funny for the record, T. I remember when that night happened. And him and Smoke, they were stupid. I've been telling them like, why are you guys driving late at night, working overnight shifts? Like I knew it was gonna happen. And then asked them. I told them, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you bugging, stop driving late. Like, no, I got this. Like they driving 2, 3 in the morning all the time. So it's inevitable. But it goes back to the point that you never know what's going to happen at any given time.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I see a comment in there. Who's this? Drew? Okay. Until it affects you personally, life insurance is a discussion that's very difficult to discuss. Who wants to talk about death? Nobody. No, it's real talk. I mean,
it's real talk.
Yeah.
Definitely real talk.
I got some comments in the on my Instagram side.
Yeah.
What's going on, Kings? Peace. So we got we got Chris and we got my boy Dice. They just shouting us out, man. It says, how can I join on Facebook? Bro, we should be following you on Facebook. Exactly. That's how you join, right? Now, I appreciate you guys tuning in. But this is how real it is. Shout out to my guys that's on the live right now. We have to make sure that everyone has protection. And the truth is there's a lot of people who still don't have coverage. And that's why we're on a crusade to make sure that everybody does get coverage. We're going to make sure you guys get coverage as well. It's important. We've been trying to get this for a minute. Let's lock it in. Let's go ahead and get these policies going.
Okay. You talking to them like they on there.
Yeah. You can see me over here. Yeah. You know what I meant. You know what I meant, bro. Yeah. Y'all heard me though. Y'all know we here.
They're not in the computer.
Yeah. We right here. Makes sense. But yeah. Thank you for that.
No, it's a real thing, man. It's a real thing when it comes to life insurance. And one thing I want to touch on is that it's affordable. That's the thing about it. It's affordable. A lot of people think like, oh my God, I can't afford it, and it's just too much. It's like, no, you can get a basic policy for $30 to $50 for a term.
Right.
You get other different types of policy, but get something.
Something.
And stop leaving your family with just memories. Like leave them some money. Leave them some money. Like that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, if something were to happen to you, why wouldn't you leave somebody a check? Your kids. And life insurance for everybody.
Yeah.
The only person, I take that back. The only person that doesn't need to get life insurance is if you don't care about anybody. I'm talking about you got 0 friends, 0 loved ones. That's the only person. And we all know that's fake.
And even if you didn't care about anybody, right? Leave it to a charity. Leave it to a foundation. Leave it to some entity that can benefit from you not being here no more. Even if you have no one else to give it to, leave it to a foundation or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
Any events things that we got going on coming up, guys, that we need to discuss before we get up out of here?
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely for, in terms of life insurance, as we're on the topic, this is breast cancer awareness month coming up in October.
In October.
And this month here is September, which is life insurance awareness month. So just to bring awareness to the situation, let's talk about it. If you are a person that don't have a policy, go to the site and book an appointment, get a quote. It's free to get a quote. If you're a person that has insurance at the job, and we all know this, I got insurance at the job. If you don't know what it means, book an appointment so we can go over it so you can at least understand what it means. Anybody that does not have a policy, don't understand their policy, don't know if they have enough coverage on their policy, needs to book an appointment to have a conversation. You should not be uncertain on what you're going to leave your family for money. You should not be uncertain. And honestly, I love you, but if you're a family member and you got me paying the bill to bury you, I'm still going to love you. But I'm still going to be pissed off at you. You know what I mean? We're going to celebrate you, but I'm still going to be like, yeah, that cousin right there, yeah, I knew I didn't really like him like that. But I love you though. But no, don't be that person, all jokes aside. Try to make sure at the very minimum you leave enough money to bury someone. Why leave someone a bill? Again, leave them some money.
Right.
Absolutely. Also, if you're going to be in New York on October 24th, right? Yeah, October 24th, we're having a game night at our Queens, New York office. I'll make sure that you guys get the address, but I'll say it here, 161-15 Rockaway Boulevard. That is our Queens, New York life insurance office. We're going to be having our game night Friday night, starting at 7?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. It's going to be food, drinks, ton of games, ton of, a lot of fun. So just come out, have a good time with us. And, once again, like Ross said about, the breast cancer awareness month, it's super, super important that, you guys come out, but for that time to, enjoy that event with us and bring awareness to breast cancer and also about prevention too. It's not just about the cancer, it's about prevention. It's about how do we prevent it for people who don't have it, right? So it's super important. Once again, any last minute words, guys, before we get up out of here?
No, just follow us for the events, book our services. We don't just do life insurance, we do everything meaning to better your life financially. So we do credit, we fix your credit. The realtors, we help you find a house, buy a house. If you already have a house, we help you get the cash out of your house so you can buy another house. Life insurance, we help you invest. We help protect your family. Everything money. We do Roths, everything to get your family protected all the way around. So yeah, that's my last piece.
Chris, that's not this Friday, bro. That's October 24th. So you guys got time. You guys got time to pull up. So yeah, October 24th. And Dice, yes, we gotta tap in, bro. Definitely gotta tap in. Yes, let's all link, fellas.
Tell Dice don't tap in though, because he's been supposed to be tapping in. Tap in. Stop saying tap in, bro. I'm doing it on live. Tap in.
He calling you out, bro. Everything gotta come through. He calling you out, man.
Tap dancing out here. Stop it.
Rob calling you out. Shout out to Naughty Boy Zoe. I see you, bro. I see you, King. But yeah, definitely, guys. Once again, here at Legacy Builders, we build together so we could all grow forever, man. One love, peace, and happy Monday to you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Definitely.